Hey everyone, it's Blue Lizard Jello and welcome back to Everything Possible in the Search 2. Last time we ran through a bit more of downtown Jericho and finally ended up at the safe house known as Seaside Court. So we have a lot of people in here that we want to talk to, including some very influential merchants that we can purchase some really good stuff from. But before we do that, I have a little bit of work to do in the medbay directly behind me. So I'm going to step inside there. I'm going to put together a slightly new build, and I'll talk a little bit about it once I'm out, and then we can run around and meet all of these fine folks at Seaside Court. One thing that I did want to show off is exactly how you can convert the upper end materials into the lower level. For example, if I went to craft this vulture leg gear, it does take 2 of the Mark 1 components, but I only have some of the Mark 2. So if I wanted to, if I go to craft this, it's going to ask me if I want to convert. I sure do, and now I can craft the Mark 1 vulture leg gear. But anyway, back in a moment. I also wanted to take a moment to talk about exactly how you upgrade your implants. Now, we've already seen that we gather the implant materials by cutting off the head of certain enemies or by picking up duplicate implants. But as you can see here with both the metavoltaic injection or the cellular regenerator, if I upgraded using those Mark 1 materials, I gain an extra pre-charge, so up to 3 on both of them. But one thing that I did not mention is the fact that the health restored on the metavoltaic is actually increasing. At base level, I was only getting 80 per charge, but as I've increased my core power, that is also increased, now sitting at 119. Now that I've completed the Mark 1 upgrade, I do have the Mark 2 upgrade available, but I don't have the materials yet. But take a look at the difference over on the right hand side. On the next upgrade level, I'll gain a pre-charge at the Medbay, which means that every time I rest in a Medbay, I will automatically get 1 pre-charge added to my metavoltaic. Very useful. Once you have a particular build that you're happy with, when you go into the upgrade section of the Medbay, one of the useful features is to cycle not by all and not even by category, but rather by what you have equipped. That way you can see if there's anything that you can upgrade before you leave. For example, one of my vulture arm gears. But once all the wrench icons are gone, that means I no longer have any upgrade available, either because I'm missing the components or I'm lacking the tech scrap, which I have 4,500, probably not the issue here. And thank you to some of you fine folks who noticed that I did upgrade my core power in the last episode and failed to spend my module points. So with the levels that I just gained here, now sitting at core power 26, I have 14 modules to redistribute. So I'm going to take care of that right now. 378 health, 190 stamina, and 161% battery efficiency. I think we can work with this. For the upcoming adventure into Port Nixon, I will be using the Clinch Velosaw that I've upgraded to Mark II. I will be using the Vulture body gear, also upgraded to Mark II, the Vulture arm gear, Mark II, and then the Vulture arm gear only at Mark I because I ran out of materials, and then the Scavenger leg gears on both sides, both at Mark I. Currently, I'm getting a partial set bonus from the Vulture gear, which gives me increased tech scrap for every enemy killed, which is very nice, and that's because I'm wearing 3 pieces. The Scavenger set unfortunately is not benefiting from the partial set bonus, but that is about to change. Notice, I do have an empty head slot. Now I could put on the Vulture headgear if I so desired. Notice that if I were to wear this, yes, I get a little bit of defense, but at the cost of 2 core power consumption, I'm losing 10% damage against armored body parts and 3% against the unarmored parts. So I'm going to find a way in order to not only get the Scavenger's bonus without suffering those penalties. I have upgraded my core power to 26. I'm getting an extra 5 because of my ancillary core. The implants have changed just a little bit. Metavoltaic injection, Omni Health Observer. There's my ancillary core and my directional block analyzer. I don't know how I could survive without it, but I'm also going to be using the Manslayer to get an extra 10% bonus against humans. But now, we have a lot of people to talk to, so feel free to skip ahead if you have no interest in some of the survivor stories. Otherwise, I will see you in a little bit. Now bear with me because this could be a little bit longer of an episode because of how many people we need to talk to here, and then we have some of Port Nixon to explore. And I just noticed there is an advertisement for CREO World with the wonderful Don Hackett. Please leave an F in the comments for Don.
You know, I used to be an accountant, head of finance at CREO HQ, but after the event, the world went to hell in a handbasket. So much for our enlightened society. It's kill or be killed now. I know my choice. What's yours?
Have you met that shady Russian doctor downtown? He's a total crook. But he knows how to get past those scanner gates AID set up all over Jericho. Apparently, he has the right connections, whatever that means.
Over here, we have this crate that says, field equipment from Jordan Black. Note, touch our stuff and lose your hand. Well, standing right next to this broken down escalator is Jordan Black.
You're out of luck, kiddo. I don't need any more recruits for the monster hunt. Now get out of my face before I lose my temper. There's a lot of planning to do.
Over here, and I absolutely love that someone did this, actually multiple people did this, but this wonderful woman who's just so happy that she has to dance, and a few people got together to put down graffiti to make it look like she was practicing her dance revolution. Nicely played. Over here, we have this person playing the drums on what looks to be a briefcase, maybe a gasoline can, but more importantly, we can interact. And we can join along. I love that little touch. Okay, time for our first merchant and someone to give us a quest.
Looking for something to buy? I'd love to make you an offer, but my hands are tied.
After that nasty Defrag disease broke out, I helped as much as I could. So whatever the children of the Spark smuggled into the city for a fraction of the price.
After a while, I was drowning in debt, so I borrowed a bit of money from a nice young gentleman. I should have known better. He turned out to be nothing but a loan shark, and I was easy prey. But I'm no dotty old lady, you see. I know what's going on. His threats get more brazen every day. Soon he'll come after my grandkids. Are you sure? I don't have anything to give you for your trouble, not even a penny. If you really think you can do it, look for a guy called Finn and tell him Miss Fox sent you. He's doing most of his business in Port Nixon these days.
I owe him 2,000 tech scrap. If you can make that villain cancel my debt, I could buy new wares and stock my shelves again.
I should warn you, though. Finn is a shrewd businessman. He'll try to con you out of everything you own.
It was a bit odd when Molly said that she owed him 2,000 tech scrap because there was a bit of a pause. Either she wasn't sure how much she owed him or she's not being entirely upfront about it. Also, Iron Bar's back there in the distance, right there. Iron Mouse, will he make a return? We will see.
Time was that little cheat would have already been thrown in jail. But nowadays, it's all about image. Below the surface, he's a con man through and through. Finn knows how to play the victim card. He'll take you to the cleaners if you give him any kind of edge. Thanks for asking, young'un. I've learned a lot of things during my long life, so I'll just say this. You only start caring about money once you don't have any. I just don't know what I'll do if Finn comes after me or my grandkids.
Now that we've gotten some information about Molly's debt and the debt collector Finn that we'll be meeting in Port Nixon, likely in the next episode, let's take a look at what she has for sale.
I know your type. You fought in the mining wars, didn't you? We lost so much, on both sides. And what for? Nothing. Here, take this. People like you have been through enough.
Notice that she mentioned the mining wars, and that is because of the backstory that we chose. It's one of the few times in the game where your backstory will come into conversation, but it really has no impact on the gameplay itself. So she sells a couple of tags, the audio log and the going in circles. She also sells some schematics. We have the AID Nightfall headgear, the leg gear, and the arm gear in case you didn't get it from Warden Garcia, but this color indicates that we already own it, as opposed to the ones that we do not own. She also sells the body gear for the Nightfall, but she does have the Angel 6 body gear. We'll have to collect more of that down the line. She sells Omnicells at 20 piece up to stacks of 50. We also have a new implant here, the Dynamic Redirector. For 2 core power consumption, we actually get 30 energy for being hit. Could be pretty useful if you build more of a tanky character. And then we have these two very interesting bit of headgear, the in focus 999 glasses and the backwards bully cap. Slight differences in the elemental defense. The overall defense is 9 for each of them, some higher stability on the cap. Now I am going to have to go out and farm for a little bit of scrap because my intent was to purchase one of these because of the unique ability and that each of these will count towards all other set bonuses. So even though I'm only wearing 2 bits of the scavenger gear, if I put either one of these on the head, which neither take any core power, then I will get the partial set bonus of the scavenger gear. So I will leave and come back and purchase that. After going outside and just killing a few of the vulture enemies directly out there, I was able to nab about 2,500 tech scrap and then found a banner on the way in, which is always good for another 250. So now let's buy one of those headgears.
Of course.
And I'm thinking simply for the higher stability, let's go with the backwards bully cap. Perfect. And now take a look here. Even if I take this off, which I will just for the time being, let's put on the bully cap. And now it says I have the partial set bonus active. And now you can see on the left or right hand side of the armor pieces, the hexagon with the plus in the middle. If that is half filled, that means you are getting the set bonus on each of these. Even though it says I only have 2 equipped, because of this I am getting both of those set bonuses, which is extremely useful. Right, well we will see Molly a little bit later. Running around here, we do have a map available. Not much we can do with the other folks down here, especially if we try to exit here.
If you want to go to the harbor, ask Brother Eli or get stuffed.
Mr. Loco, not one to mince words.
I'll never make it out of here.
So let's head topside, a few more people to talk to. Ignoring that main room right in the center, but let's talk over here to our good friend Rex.
Hey, need some wicked drone implants? Cool by me, either way, but you gotta get on with it. I have so much stuff on my mind, it feels like my brain's gonna explode. Yeah, you touch it, you buy it. We clear?
So I'm going right into Rex's inventory before we talk about his quests because you need to grab that one item that's right behind him in order to start it. But he has a few more graffiti tags, the Star Unbreakable, he also sells Omni Cells, and he does have the Drone Proximity Adapter. For core power consumption, you get an extra 30% damage and 50% elemental damage boost as long as your drone is relatively close to the target. This is an implant. We also can purchase the Molotov Cocktail or the Grenade Drone Module. We've already talked about the Molotov a little bit, but the Grenade is another consumable drone module. And then we also have the CREO Industrial Magnet Drone Module, which pulls the target towards the drone itself. This is incredibly useful. I use this quite a bit in the original Surge. But let's back up, and before we talk to Rex again, let's grab this plastic rose.
What the? Hey, that's mine. Give it back, like right now.
He was not too happy that we picked that up.
Seriously, not cool. That's a memento from my ex. I mean, what would you say if I just marched into your workplace and stole everything that's not nailed down? This was a token of our love, you know? It's all I have left now. I'm a broken shell of a man. Whatever. See if I care. I mean, didn't want it back anyway. Didn't need it. Oh, it's that age-old story, really. Boy meets girl, girl dumps boy. Everything goes to hell. Said she needed to find herself. Now nobody can find her at all. I heard a little rumor she's hooked up with that rich bastard, little Johnny, at Port Nixon. I mean, I'd go there right now to check it out, but I've got too many enemies in that part of town. Maybe you could, I don't know, snoop around a bit? Awesome! I was hoping I could coax you into it. Oh, crap. I said that out loud, didn't I? I just really need some help. I'm frickin' losing it here. Yeah, like the old harbor. That's where the shady punk-ass little Johnny sells his so-called drugs. I just can't stand that gassy sleazebag. I mean, have you heard those horror stories about the shit he gets up to in Terminal Z? Ew. Dude's like seriously depraved. April went like totally bitch cakes after she found religion. Spark here, spark there, spark everywhere, except in our relationship.
So Rex here is talking about the blue spark drug that seems to be going around. We're going to hear more about that from Brother Eli here shortly, but we're going to have to enter Port Nixon and look for April, or at least evidence of what might have happened to her.
All right, peace out.
As far as this floor, other than talking to Brother Eli, which we are going to hold off on just for the time being, nothing over there with those fine folks, but upstairs we have one more NPC, sort of, to talk to.
Do I smell a new audio log? Come on over and show me.
We can talk to and interact with this vending machine, which reminds me a lot of the vending machine from Futurama, the episode with Bev, the beverage machine.
Hi, I'm Mr. Scrappy, your all-in-one rumor monger, information resource, and audiophile vendor. I'll scan every audio recording you have and reward you accordingly. So, what do you say? Fill me in on the latest gossip, and I'll give you something even better in return. I'm not surprised you agreed. After all, I've studied your profile. All you need to do is bring me your audio recordings every once in a while for review. Since I'm in a generous mood, I'll compensate you with a couple of exclusive lost recordings. Here, the first one's on the house.
So for talking to Mr. Scrappy here and agreeing to take his quest, we did get a new audio log. That audio log is this one right here. The Outtakes by Kyle Baxter. Now, we don't have to listen to this, but I'm going to simply because I really enjoy the audio logs. But if you take notice, if you found all the audio logs up till now, including the one we just got, we have a total of 10, and that number is going to be significant.
Hello, I'm Kyle Baker. Baxter. Sorry. Baxter. Can we do this one more time? I forgot my name again. Cut. Did you know that Blue Sparkle Diction is becoming a net? Blue Sparkle Diction? What the hell is Blue Sparkle Diction?
It's Blue Sparkle Addiction, Mr. Baxter.
Got it. Guess it was a problem with my addiction, after all.
Cut.
This is ridiculous. The CREO Anti-Drug Foundation comes up with this trash.
Mr. Baxter, we paid you in advance.
Did you? You did? Oh, right. Sorry. I must have spent the money on Blue Sparkle again.
Cut.
Hugs defeat drugs? Who writes this button now?
You wrote it yourself, Mr. Baxter. Could you please just do it one more time? Correctly this time? Honestly.
What? You don't even know what you want. You can't direct an actor of my caliber like this. This is impossible. No, I won't do it. No money in the world is worth this agony.
Kyle Baxter, will actually be hearing from him again, but because we now have 10 audio logs, let's talk to Mr. Scrappy again and have him scan our audio logs.
Welcome back, unknown stranger. So, you have collected 10 audio files. You have reached Reward Tier 1. Great work. Enjoy listening. It's on the house. 1 second, I'll check my database. Have you heard about the Great Wall of Jericho? The governor had it erected to keep Defrag at bay. At least, that's the official statement. Most of my clients believe they've isolated this place to sweep us under the rug. Literally and figuratively. Whatever that means. Check back in soon. I'll keep you in the loop.
So was the wall not actually erected for the public safety?
Nothing in this world is free. By accepting my help, you've already agreed to my terms of service. I'll give you all the information I have and sell everything I know about you to the highest bidder. It's a fair deal. Agreed? I will only say this once. The password is Keymaker. You'll know when to use it.
The password is Keymaker. We got 2 more audio logs and 5,000 scrap for turning in the first 10 audio logs. The Whole Johnny and the Potshot returns 1 out of 4. Now I will be listening to these again because I do enjoy them, but feel free to skip ahead if it's not your cup of tea.
Attention everyone! Port Nixon is surrounded by nothing but rats trust the military. Don't trust outsiders. Blue Sparkle will guide you to the promised land. Defend Fort Nixon at all costs. All outsiders must die. My Blue Sparkle will open your eyes and bring true salvation at last.
Some more information about Little Johnny and Blue Sparkle. One more to talk about. Let's listen to The Podshot, 1 out of 4 by Dr. Phoenix Q. Rishboder.
This is Podshot, back from the dead for another season of film news, reviews, and gossip straight from the horse's mouth. Hi there. I'm your host, Dr. Phoenix Q. Rishboder. This year, I'll be dedicating the show to my favorite film series, Iron Mouse. Now, let's start with the first and best entry in an increasingly desperate string of box office disasters. To me, one thing was clear from the initial frame. This movie is literally perfect. Apart from the writing, and the score, and the lighting, and the props, and the list goes on. But the worst offender by far is the so-called acting. I mean, seriously, guys, Kyle Baxter as Iron Mouse? Who had the brilliant idea to cast this flabby old ham as a rodent of all things? This film is the cinematic equivalent of mouse droppings. Small, grimy, and leaves a bad aftertaste. And on that note, see you next week for my review of Iron Mouse 2.
If you played the Surge 1, especially the DLC, the CREO World, or you watch my videos, you should be familiar with Iron Mouse as well as his nemesis, Carbon Cat. One thing that I failed to mention is that Black Jordan and these people over here, these are members of the Hunters. Remember, we got an audio log about the Hunter ad. Well, they are the ones out there hunting beasts. Now that we've talked to everyone else and gotten a few quests, let's bypass these two goons right here and let's talk to Brother Eli.
Who sent you? Was it my brother? Yeah! Of course. I should have known. But why did that witless cretin Johnny ask you to spy on me, Declan? No reason to hold back. He thinks you're out to get him. He thinks what? It's not like he's leaving me with a choice, is it? I've always honored our faith, preached the good word, and welcomed lost sheep into our flock. That's it. Give up. He will never learn the error of his sinful ways. He's brought this on himself by gorging himself on junk food like a glutton, indulging in carnal pleasures, and selling drugs to washed-up junkies like yourself. Wastrels, fornicators, heathens, the lot of them. You people disgust me. Soon our most glorious day shall dawn. The skies will be rent asunder with a deafening roar. The harbingers will descend and dispense holy, righteous justice. We will cast off our frail skin, flee our prison of the flesh once and for all. Soon there will be neither man nor machine, just eternal life. Do you really think that fat slob Johnny of all people will be the one to bring forth this new dawn? Trust me, Declan. This discussion is far from over. Justice will be served one way or another. I know there's something you haven't told me. Who sent you? Was it my brother? Yeah! Help me. Shut up, Declan. We're not done here yet. Welcome to our humble chapel. They call me Brother Eli. I've been taking a lot of lost souls under my wing. My disciple Truman told me of your coming. But enough about me. Tell me about yourself. You really don't know who I am? How unusual. I'm Matriarch Celeste's eldest son, a humble shepherd with small ambitions. Everything I do is to serve the glory of the Spark and its mighty nanite harbingers. As they descend from the heavens, a new dawn rises. Even now, we lead the charge, providing power and food to the surviving few, whether they join our cause or not. The gateway to Port Nixon is locked for a reason. Nobody gets in or out without my express consent. Glad you asked. I'm in deep water. Supplying our fellow men with salvage goods is getting harder by the minute. Everything I've accomplished is at stake, and the biggest threat is right here, inside my own ranks. I've got a bit of a family issue going on. My brother, little Johnny, has always been in charge of Port Nixon's streets. After the nanomachines appeared, the outsiders came to drive us away. Our time had come. A real chance to prove our gospel's truth. We won. But Johnny's warped mind wouldn't give up the substance we used to expand our minds and bodies. The blue sparkle. Now he's nothing but a drug lord. Someone has to bring him to justice. I'd confront him myself, but there'd be hell to pay if anybody saw me interfering, as it were. Only an outsider can take care of this mess. Excellent. My associate downstairs will let you pass through the harbor gate now. Report to me once you put things to rest. He's hiding out in an old terminal in Jericho's harbor district, Port Nixon. The methods you use don't matter to me. All I care about are the results. His sinfulness must come to an end, once and for all. To be honest, we've benefited a lot from his supplies. But now that I know how he's earned his dirty money, I have no choice but to wash my hands of him. We've given him more than enough chances. Who? Him? He's just one of my little brother's pushers. I caught him red-handed with a stash of drugs. I've been trying to make him come clean for hours, but he's been, well, shall we say, rather stubborn. He'll change his mind soon enough. Sinners always do. May the spark guide you.
So we get the Prophet's Key card, which is going to allow us not only to pass by Mr. Loco, but also through this door up here by Mr. Scrappy, which is where we will go first. So up here, there's not going to be a whole lot that we can do. There is the mag lift right outside the entrance that's still magnetically sealed, which does mean that the toxic filter implant is going to be right down there in that shipping container and will be dropping down. But let's just take a quick run over here to show that frankly there's not a whole lot that we can do at this time. So we're on the Welder's Block rooftops. We have another magnetic lift that is sealed, so we can't use that. Over here, we do just have one pile of metal scrap. Then there's this enemy sitting on the ledge. This is the one that dropped down and was able to ambush us. Just dispatch of him very quickly. Down there, you can see the mag lift. There's two enemies right in there. Grab what he dropped for us, and then we just have a nice little shortcut. I do love my shortcuts. If you remember, this intersection is where the security shot down the drone with the Shady Doctor, just over down that alleyway. But that's really it that we can do outside. So we're just going to run back, and then we'll drop down and grab that toxic filter before we pass through Seaside Court again and head into Port Nixon. Now, because we do already have the toxic filter from one of the very early areas, as we drop down and we pick it up, you can see that we get another Mark II of the implant circuitry, which is really good for upgrading. It should bear mentioning that Brother Eli did talk about Little Johnny quite a bit, and we learned that they are brothers. And we'll have to make our way through Port Nixon in order to confront Little Johnny, both for Brother Eli's sake, as well as to hopefully find out what happened to Rex's ex-girlfriend, April.
If Brother Eli trusts you, yeah, it's good enough for me, my friend. You can pass. You can pass.
And welcome to Port Nixon, home of Little Johnny, and probably not a good place to be spending a whole lot of time if you're already having lung problems based on this pollution. Let's start the adventure off with an audio log.
Evacuate Port Nixon, they said. Use force if necessary. Yeah, right. These people don't want to be saved. They killed everyone. I'm the last survivor. But we found something at the harbor. Something big. Flight 221. There was a survivor. We lost the girl. Failed our mission. I'll have my revenge. Just you wait. You goddamn bastards.
Coming straight from one of the people that were looking for the wreckage. Something with Flight 221 was not exactly as it seemed. Now, I did pick up some scrap up top, and then I just killed a number of these small robots. We have another enemy over there, actually a humanoid, who's fixing one of these robots. Now, most of these are going to drop a battery, which I like to leave on the ground because there's a tough enemy coming up, and if I need to retreat and use the batteries to get either a dismemberment or one of my pre-charges, then I have these batteries available. But back here, we have a massacred aid response unit that's being strung up as a deterrent. There's some more metal scrap. And then over here, so the robot is targetable just by using the left trigger. And if I get my drone out, I can usually target him, and this enemy has a new weapon, so I definitely want to try and get it if at all possible. Back up here. Missed it. Although we're doing some great damage with this upgraded weapon. But there is the dismemberment. And heat drops for us. First off, we got a schematic for the Spark Aspirant's arm gear. Talk about that here in just a moment. But I also got the Spark Engineer's multi-tool. This is another new weapon class in the Surge 2. It is a hammer. It does 90 damage, 18 impact, 110% attack speed, 40% energy gain, 95% stamina consumption, and it does have electricity damage, 20. So really, really good for those stuns. But as I said, we also did get the schematic for the Spark Aspirant's arm gear. We can see that the partial set bonus, these are very interesting. It reduces the duration of poison affliction. I can see that being a straight benefit. But then the full set bonus, it increases your attack speed while afflicted by poison. There is another Spark armor set we'll be seeing shortly that has a similar but also impressively weird poison bonus. With him dead, we do have some more scrap hiding behind him. And once again, just leaving all those batteries. I have no need for picking them up just yet. We can get a good view here of the Port Nixon throughway. We're going to be down there in a moment. Look at that weapon. We'll be collecting that. We do also have a turret. I do like to take the turret out nice and easy, which we can do with our drone. I'll leave the rest of the enemies alive. But we'll be down there very, very soon. In here, we do have another magnetic lock. I need that Starfish drone module in order to use it.
From my teachings. The path to deliverance is not through mind-altering narcotics. Do not, my children, become addicted to a mere tool. You did well to use our chemicals defending our sacred sites. They strengthened your arms and sharpened your minds when the unrighteous came to tear down our great works. You drove them from our homes and defended our creed. But the combat drugs were only a means to an end. Enlightenment comes not only from purity of action, but also from purity of thought. Seek transcendence and be reborn. Make a pilgrimage to the cathedral and become one with the spark again before it is too late. My poor benighted children. It is I.
The voice of Celeste trying to get people to head over to the cathedral. Talks about the blue spark, talking about how that medicine was really just a means to an end. Sounds like a whole lot of propaganda. Now we have another audio log here. Let's grab this and listen to it because that medbay, it's going to act a little bit different.
Come on, just try it. It'll expand your consciousness.
But what if there's no going back? My brother had a dose of blue sparkle once. A few weeks later, we found him dead in the gutter.
That's what your mom tells you. Because she needs a scapegoat. Because she can't face the fact she drove him to kill himself. But don't worry. This will make the pain go away. Forever. You can stop whenever you want.
Okay. But just this once.
Some more information there on Blue Sparkle, and we're even in the Blue Sparkle compound. You can see here that there's just some drug leftovers in there. But down below, I did pick up a couple of piles of scrap, by the way, one behind the canisters here and then one at the top of that ramp. But now let's interact with this medbay and get our first look at little Johnny.
Hey, can you hear me, morons? Who turned the damn power back on? I shut this medbay down for a reason, you good-for-nothing gas bags. Says who? I'm little Johnny, your frickin' lord and master, shit for brains. Once I find you, I'll gouge your eyes out with a rusty spoon. Are you trying to get fresh with me?
All of the lines of dialogue end up with him disconnecting, but we now do have a medbay that we can use. So we will unlock it. I don't have a whole lot of scrap. Once I'm in the medbay, you're going to see that I do have quite a bit actually tucked away. I have been storing it, and that's because I have been using my banner and hiding them, I guess, in some pretty good spots, because not too many people are finding them. I'm getting consistently between 4,000 and 5,000 scrap. But you know what I haven't done in a little while? Is actually place that banner. So tell you what, why don't we... Well, let's just put it somewhere that's not too difficult to find, right in this corner. And if we get any, fantastic. Let me get my laser pistol back equipped. Now we have a rather tough enemy right over there in the corner. Looks like he's already seen me. And we definitely want to get his weapon, so let's get ready. Okay, you can see that damage already. And I did not get the deflection. We'll try again. There it is. But I would hopefully like to get the cut. There it is. Even though I'm going to take some damage, I'm alright with that. He's also wearing the Spark Aspirant armor, so if you want to farm him for the full set, you most certainly can. And we got the SNR, or Search and Rescue Jackdaw. This is another returning weapon, this time from CREO World, the first DLC of Surge 1. Damage 122, and that's because this is a Mark II weapon. This is a twin rigged set. 12 impact, 100% attack speed, 40% energy gain, and 80% stamina consumption. Excellent little weapon, very quick. Break all these crates inside. We have a loot cache. Just get some more scrap out of there. We also have some more scrap. Well, let's grab this banner. Thank you very much for the 250 tech scrap. Speaking of tech scrap, there's some more. And then up here we have a rather unfortunate scene.
This is a bad idea. They'll find...
Not really sure what killed him. Seems like there's maybe missing some animations. Let's take out that turret. And that turret. There we are. Also gonna grab some scrap back here, and then we have another one of these enemies. Since they're using the Jackdaw, I do want to work on getting some more armor. I think we'll focus on the head. Ooh, taking lots of damage. And slowly but surely breaking that headpiece. Try another deflection. Well, at least we blocked the damage. There is the dismemberment. Take him out for the headgear schematic. As we go forward, there is going to be a battery charge here, which is going to be great because I'll use that to heal. And then we have an NPC who's going to act as a little bit of a guide for us.
Oi, Governor. How about a piece of tech scrap so I can feed me starving family? I can show you the way, Gov. Been round Jericho for decades. Of course, I was living a bit more upmarket back in the day. Only a couple of months ago, I was one of CREO's biggest shareholders. Nowadays, the only thing I can hold is me drink. Well, that's mighty generous, Gov. If you want to know anything about this bleeding city, just say the word. Mortimer Gideon III is at your service.
For only one tech scrap, Mortimer will give you some more information.
Warehouse? Good one, mate. We call it Terminal Z.
That bloated pile of pus Johnny runs his ruddy drug empire in that crap hole. Peddles some stuff called Blue Sparkle all over the ruddy harbour. Stuff's more addictive than bourbon. Or so I've heard. Let me think. Hey, you see that street right in front of you? That's your direct route. I'll tell you, it's pure anarchy down there. But if you're a bit of a wuss, just use the ruddy side road. Might be able to avoid a lot of hassle that way. Then again, I wouldn't journey into the unknown all on my own, but maybe that's just me.
Some good information for relatively cheap.
Your patronage, Gav.
We'll be seeing Mortimer again in not too long. Now, as we drop down, we do have one enemy right over there. I'm actually targeting a robot in the water. That enemy is wearing the Spark Defender's gear and also has a new weapon to us. And we do want to be collecting that. But before, let's just head down here. This is also a really good place to place your banner. And then back here along this conduit, we do have a small pile of rusty tech scrap. Heading back to the main street. This is the direction that we're going to be heading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this audio log and start playing, and then I want to take on that enemy right there, focusing on his weapon-wielding arm.
There's no getting past those soldiers. Let's take the shortcut, okay? I'll go ballistic if I don't get my blue sparkle soon.
Sad lot of good that'll do us. Haven't you heard the stories?
The ones about the missing people? Come on, I don't believe in fairy tales.
It's true. People just disappear down there.
Don't worry. I'll be with you all the way.
So that was a rather easy kill because his arm was not armored. Let's use that battery charge to heal up. But we didn't get an armor piece. If we were to have gotten a schematic, we would learn that that is, as I said, the Spark Defender's gear. And the Spark Defender's gear has a partial set bonus of increased poison duration that's been applied to enemies, and the full set bonus gives you increased damage and impact while you are afflicted by poison. So again, rather interesting combination. But we got the Punishing Slash Brand. This is another one of those double duty weapons, the ones that can be either a single weapon or two. Damage 102, 18 impact, 106% attack speed, 60% energy gain, 140% stamina consumption, so as is typical with the double duty, a lot of stamina usage, but 22 electricity damage. Really nice for that stun. So pay attention to what we see here with these enemies in the pond, with the enemy up there with his turret. Because instead, we're going to head down here. Now, there are a few enemies that we need to be careful about because we don't want to attack more than one at a time if we can help it. So I think I'll take out this one that's patrolling first. Let's see if we can get a leg from him. Oh, totally missed that. There we go. Excellent. He is now enraged. We need to be very careful here, especially because if we want the cut, we need to save our energy. There we are. Health is a little bit low. Not too happy about that. But we should be able to get a backstab on this guy if we're careful. There we are. We can get a heal going. He's going to have to make his way back up to us, which is okay. May soften him up a little bit with our drone. And we might not even get the cut here. And you know what? At this point, that's going to... Well, I would say that that's going to be fine. But we managed to pull it off at the last moment. And there is the full set of schematics for the Spark Aspirant. Now we have an enemy hiding behind this car at this point. I just want to make sure that I survive this. So I just want to go for the head. That'll be a nice easy kill since it was not armored. We have the one more enemy down below here. We also have one of the robots. Those can explode if you get too close. So let's see what's not armored. Looks like his body. There we go. There's a good deflection. And a nice quick kill. I'm going to save the energy for my metavoltaic. Do not walk in there. You will die, and yes, I have tested that. So up here, give you a lay of the land. Let's store one of these charges. This is going to lead to that enemy we just saw on the bridge. We're going to leave him alone for the time being because we don't have to go that way. We're also going to leave that enemy completely alone, and there's a very good reason for that. Up here, we can pry open this door.
What the? Did you just break in here? Come to Penny at once.
So we just apparently broke in to the shop. We got some scrap right inside. There's some drying meat over there. There's also Penny's delivery service. Once you chop, you can't stop. And here is a merchant and NPC, Penny.
My door's open to everyone, sweetheart, but this is outrageous. Looks like I've caught myself a shoplifter. Not at all, sweetheart. What's done is done. I'm not surprised, though. Not one bit. I've seen desperation like this in a lot of people. Hunger drives us to do things we never thought possible. I hate to let you leave on an empty stomach. If only my cooling chamber was working, I'd take real good care of you. Still, it's useless. I won't be able to do anything without a spare part. That's wonderful, sweetheart. You're a real lifesaver. You just have to find one of those bots scuttling around all over Port Nixon and salvage a spare part. Should be easy as pie for someone of your abilities. Sure, but I am not allowed to sell my best wares in here. That's the law of the wasteland, sweetheart. If someone gave those ruffians on Main Street a taste of their own medicine, I might be able to sell you some special stuff over the counter.
Currently, she's just going to sell a selection of Omnicells. We do have an implant. This is the critical dynamo. While our health is low, the energy gain is increased by 20%. It does take 6 core power consumption, and then we have another special headgear, this time the Smell Saver, that would allow us to, just like the hat that we're wearing, count towards all other set bonuses. 2300 tech scrap. Let's pick it up. So Penny wants us to find a spare part for her cooling chamber, and that's the reason why we left this one enemy alive out here. She said that any of the bots scuttling about can drop them, and while he isn't a bot, he should be able to produce one for us. So if I just go up there and just do one quick hit on him, and then let him summon, as soon as we get the kill now, we should be able to get, actually this is the bot we needed, and there we go, we get the spare part from that scuttling bot. Now let's just get a quick kill, and might as well actually get some gear out of this. Hoping to get the deflection there, but there we are. There's the cut. So we did just get, there was another battery adrenalizer implant there, so instead we got the material since we already had it. Now this mag lift, not currently working. We can see some items over there that we can't yet reach, but since we have the part, let's go right back to Penny and turn it in for our reward.
How's the spare part hunt going, sweetheart? Without you, a lot of people would have gone hungry tonight. Your reward is waiting in the cooling chamber. Don't be shy now, sweetheart. You've earned every little bit. I'll be with you in a second, okay?
It's a good thing that we trust her implicitly, and she clearly has no ulterior motives. In fact, there's a reward right there, a small pile of metal scrap. Nothing sinister going on here.
Welcome to Penny's Meat Grinder, sweetheart. I've lured you right into my little well. And now, it's dinner time.
It's a good thing that she's a typical Bond villain in letting us know exactly what's about to happen and then doing it ever so slowly. As soon as we go inside, Penny is going to attack us, and for good reason. But she is holding a special weapon. In fact, it's a unique variant of the very one we're using. This is going to be the Velosaw Ultra. Now, she's not too difficult to kill. In fact, I might want to downgrade my weapon for this fight, purely because if we kill her too quickly without gaining the energy we need, it will not work all that well. This is only 30% energy gain. Let's go something a little bit higher. I don't want to go with heavy duty. I don't want to kill her that quickly. Tell you what, let's go with the plasma auger. This should do it.
Let's dance.
And I don't even want to use any deflections. That'll just be a little bit too quick. And there's the cut. Just by the skin of our teeth. And we get the Penelope's key for killing her. But then, as I said, we also get the Clinge Velo Saw Ultra. Let's compare that. So let's go back to our Clinge Velo Saw, and then let's compare it. Now, granted, our Clinge Velo Saw is at Mark II, but the Mark I version of the Ultra is already doing 99 damage, and it does have a higher energy gain for a slightly higher stamina consumption. But that is how you get the Ultra. And now, as we approach this door, it will open. Now, had we approached it previously, we would have heard banging, but it seems that Penny had a visitor.
Don't eat me! I'm not going down without a fight!
Be very careful here. You don't want to choose Fine by Me, Bring It On, because Jennifer will attack you.
Wait, you're not? Then what the hell is going on here? She lured me and my boyfriend inside and disemboweled him right in front of my eyes. Damn bitch said she was gonna keep me for dessert. I thought I was a goner for sure. I suppose I should give you some kind of reward for saving me.
Now, while doing the right thing in this case may just be letting her know that we are doing this just to be a good person, but if we don't actually demand something, we won't get a reward, and it's a rather nice reward. It's going to give us a shortcut back to the Medbay. So at this point, well, I'm going to be a little bit rude.
Sorry. Please take this. It's all I have left. I have nowhere left to go, but maybe I can make a difference right here.
And because we were rude, we get Jenny's key card, which is going to unlock the mag lift outside. While we're here, don't forget to grab the prime meat. That's going to be for a quest quite a bit later on. With Penny dead and Jennifer rescued, now we can access this mag lift. Heading up the mag lift, we are now right back in the Blue Sparkle compound, and we have a medbay at our disposal. But that is going to do it for this episode of Everything Possible in The Surge 2. I hope you learned something, and if you did, leave me a comment below and let me know what you learned. And if I missed something, or if you have your own tips and tricks that you'd like to share, go ahead and put that in the comments down below as well, so we can all keep learning. But I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.